Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you doing? Welcome to another edition of Two Guys in Hockey Talk, Season 7, Episode 19. How are things been with you, Evan?
I am just freezing like a hot dog, and I don't even know why I would say a hot dog because a dog ain't so hot right now in Western Alberta or Northern Alberta, man. I think teams like the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames, they sound like they may be full of fire and. No, man. We should be called the Freeze up in the northern parts of Alberta. The Edmonton Freeze.
Well, we hope that you, wherever you are warm and you are tuning in. And remember, guys, to subscribe and follow us every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We are on YouTube, on X/Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram, as well as on Twitch. Go give us a follow. We love connecting with you guys, hearing from you guys. And again, go to our website. We've got articles up there regularly, whether it's the Boston Bruins, whether it's weekly updates, or whether it's our former guests that have been on the show. We appreciate it. And thanks to our big sponsors listed above here right now for partnering with us. If you want to get involved with us, please reach out to us, and we'd love to connect and work with you. Lost Trucker, who's tuning in, that's Edmonton's new PWHL team. That's Edmonton Blizzard. Is that what you said?
Freeze. I said freeze.
Freeze. Okay. I like that. I think we can make that work. Evan, it's been a busy week in the NHL. Lots is happening. So let's get into it because there's been quite a few things happening. So first off, we had a trade. We know that the trade freeze is coming up here with the Olympic break in just a few weeks' time, which is going to be exciting itself. And we'll get to the Olympics because there's some updates there. But it looks like a trade within the New York State. The Islanders and the New York Rangers or the New Jersey Devils have traded Andre Palat for a third round in the 2026 draft, a sixth-round pick in the 2027, and forward Maxim Sipakov, who came over this year and was a highly sought-off prospect, potentially free agent last offseason. Your thoughts on this trade, and does it benefit it? Because it looks like Islanders are all in. Does it benefit them?
You know, it's interesting how just you just take a few weeks, and when a team feels like they got it, they got it. Patrick Waugh is getting loaded to bear. His general manager is going to bat for him and saying, listen, you're doing a wonderful job. So, and that's about what's going to happen. Hang on. That's what's going to happen when they hit the playoffs. I think that they're moving too quick. I think that they're giving up too much right now, trying to move some stuff out here and there. Great deal. This is more about New Jersey moving on. Some players opening up around it.
No retention for New Jersey, which is really good. This is what they needed. They needed cap space.
Great for Jersey, but like Islanders, why would you do that? Like it.
I think they want to go deep in the playoffs, and I think they want to reward their players. I think
they do, but you want to actually slow your progress down. Like, are you really think you're ready yet?
So would you say the same thing for last week's trade when we saw Kiefer Sherwood go to the San Jose Sharks?
I did last week. I did say that. I felt like Kiefer going there already, unless there was a long-term deal set in place that we don't know about somewhere along the way. Hey, buddy, how you doing, Timo?
Great to see you. Hope you're doing well. Well, I mean, I think I understand why they're doing it. You want to try to make a move, and you want to do it before the market dries up, and there's a lot happening right now. So I think there are potential moving pieces, but I think a lot of things are on pause because it sounded like the New York Rangers have held or withheld Mr. Artemi Panarin as of tonight's game for precautionary reasons and potentially for a potential move. Now, we know that there's a lot of teams interested. Minnesota is one of them. Dallas is one of them, and including Dallas, who is interested in him as a rental, not potentially with an extension. But Panarin himself is interested in potentially signing an extra 4 to 5 year deal, maybe 6 years. Now, he'd like to go to Florida. I know that's one team that he'd be interested in. However, they'd have to make the cap work. I'm not saying it's not possible. One phone call can change all things, especially if 3 teams are involved. But that would be a little bit of a long shot. But I am hearing rumblings of Dallas and Minnesota. How they make it work, I don't know. And it's interesting for Minnesota because I know they want to make a big splash with Bill Guerin and recently announced that they would dangle Wallstead which is surprising that they would do that. But at the same time, they also need help, Evan, down the middle, right? Joel Eriksson Ek is out for a little bit if he's not back already, and he's technically your first line center. He should be a 2C. But your thoughts on Panarin potentially moving from the Rangers, and the Rangers now potentially going into another retool / soft rebuild, as one would say.
Yeah. I feel like this is like we're ahead of the curve every week. So this has been talked about, and earlier on we were talking about, hey, Panarin's. I at the beginning of the year I had this discussion with people, and they're like, no, Panarin, he's a Ranger, true and blue. He holds all the cards, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we've seen the changes happening. Panarin, we knew was going to move at some point in time in the last couple of weeks. Before that, at the very beginning, if you go back, I was talking about this already. There will be that movement happening. The question is where. And right now, I don't know where. You can do your own analysis of where that might even end up being. But I have been told that there is a couple teams in the mix, and there is negotiations going on right now. So I don't know if it's a bidding war. I don't know if it's about moving. It's a third. I actually have heard there could be potentially a third team involved in making something happen. I don't know if that's around cap retention too, but I'm betting anything. It is, because Panarin, if he moves, he wants to go to a contender, and contenders can't afford the cap right now. So that would have to be it. So does it happen before the break? I'm thinking it happens before the break.
For sure. And before we get to my comment about that, I think it's Timu is writing, is it cold in Edmonton? I heard of big storm, and my son is in Finland, said it was freezing before 50 hours straight. Here in Tampere, it's 8. I converted this in Fahrenheit. So we hope you're staying warm. It is cold in Edmonton. It's not as bad as it was a couple days ago, but we're keeping warm. For the Rangers, I believe they are looking for a similar return package that Colorado gave up from Islanders for Brock Nelson. So if people remember that, they got a top prospect in Kalen Ritchie, defenseman Oliver Shillington, and a 2026 first-round pick and a conditional 2028 third-round pick, which makes sense. You know, Panarin is of that caliber. He is an elite scorer. He's almost a point-per-game guy. He's performed at every level. I think that Rangers are looking for a bit of a haul. My question is, Evan, is there something going on with Coach Mike Sullivan, who's going to be coaching Team USA? And we'll get to Olympics later, but you know, he struggled with the Penguins over the last few years, and all of a sudden now Penguins are surging. Skinner looks unstoppable, and people will say, oh, well, he's facing easy teams. There's no easy teams in the NHL. It's either you win or you lose. And all of a sudden, Pittsburgh's fighting it in the Metro, competing, while the Rangers are struggling. Is this an indication of of coaching for Mike Sullivan?
So, no, I don't think it's just coaching. I think that he had kind of lost the voice in the room. He was not given a good team to begin. I was actually shocked that Mike, I think this was about money and being in New York. That was kind of the piece. And I think there was already talk that was happening, and Drury had it with him before coming, that, hey, we're going to start the year. This is what it's going to look like. Let's see where it goes. And I think there was a discussion that happened with Sullivan before these moves were starting to be had around it. So my thinking here is what we're dealing with. The Pittsburgh thing with Skinner, I think what we're dealing with, I took a look at 2 of the games, the 2 most recent games with Skinner where they have won. And then I also looked at the game where they had Arthur Silovs in net. And I was looking at their defense, dating right back to when Skinner lost that first game against Edmonton, and the structure of the game. It looks like Dan Muse has actually done something, where his coaching staff has done something on how the D are playing. They seem to have started to shelter. One of the things that's difficult is they were giving up a lot of high danger chances. Edmonton gives up far more high danger chances this year compared to last year. And that was one of the problems, because it opened everything up to cross-ice passing, whereas Skinner's not facing the cross-ice passes right now the same. So I don't know if they looked at his game, said let's change the defense accordingly, because if we can get these outside shots from these angles, and they're actually clearing the net. That's the other thing I noticed with Pittsburgh. So I'm thinking, could that be a coaching piece? And that's something I don't think that was something that Sullivan was really doing. But remember, he comes from college hockey, so they do a little bit of different type of coaching style with Dan.
100%. And I think one of the reasons I ask is because Adam Fox has struggled this year. I know he's been injured, but like even not being called up as a backup instead of Beckett Senek for Team USA. So clearly something's going on there because Sullivan is coaching, so he would know best. But you love to see it. And Timu says Jury wants Minnesota to the budget and force Wallstead. It's the only return per Jerry Johansson is available for Wallstead. If be Panarin, and Panarin has a no movement clause, which Minnesota has been cleared for a trade. So there you guys have it. There's some of that information, which is why I believe Minnesota is probably in it. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Good for Skinner because you build that confidence. And I think Justin Bourne of Kipper and Bourne kind of alluded to it. You can't give up on a guy. Now, I understand why Edmonton did it. It was time to move on. There needed to be a change of scenery. That happens with a lot of players. But I think you have a young 26-year-old goalie who's been to 2 cup finals. Yes, he struggles. Yes, he has hot streaks and cold streaks, but he's still a pretty competent, talented goalie that can come in and win you some games and be effective. It all depends on your system, your defense, your team structure, and how players play in front of the net, right? And he did that with Edmonton a few times when they were able to kind of navigate that. But, it struggled this year. And it clearly, Edmonton has, done well with Ingram and with Jari, albeit Jari's had similar numbers to Skinner. But again, a change of scenery was needed. And so now Bowman will live or die with the Jari trade because that is the length of his contract as long as McDavid's there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And speaking of the Penguins, it sounded like Brian Rust has been suspended for 3 games by the Department of Player Safety for his illegal check to the head of Brock Besser. You hate seeing it because Brock Besser has had concussion issues in the past. They're already missing and decimated on the back end there. And Philip Hedo's out, and now Demko's been ruled out for the for the remainder of the season. But Rust, of course, he was assessed a minor apparently, and then they got involved. It's coming at a time where they needed him because they were on a roll. But I think this is the one time that I think they got it right, although I'm sure there's some out there that will probably say too much or too little. So that's where we're at. Any thoughts on the suspension?
That illegal check to the head, ouch. The Department of Player Safety, I don't think would minced words here at all. And I mean, rightfully so. Hits like that really have no place in the game, especially with the league's emphasis on player safety. But Russ is Pittsburgh's Swift. Swiss Army knife Swift. Also, he's that gritty, speedy, and consistent 20-30 goal guy. But his absence does come at a really brutal time right now, I think, for the Penguins. They're in a dogfight right now in these playoffs right now. And without him, there's even more pressure now on Sidney Crosby and even that top line to start carrying load. I mean, it's great that guys like Ben Kindle have stepped up. But look for Drew O'Connor maybe to be the guy to step in if you're a Penguins fan. But this could cost them these 3 games. I mean, you lose 2 of the 3 in a tight Eastern Conference race. But you know what? Let's see if this is a lesson learned, if he'll be more cautious. I really thought this could be the year that they moved Rust out and tried to pick something up. But obviously they're making a run for it. So looks like I think
they've restocked the cupboards as well a little bit.
What's that?
They've been able to, like Kyle Dubas has come in because he's had this 7-year plan to rebuild the cupboard, restock the cupboard with all picks, and he's doing very well. So Timu says it's okay. Everyone's through with Skinner is playing like Kosik and now play like Georgiev in the cage. No, it's true. He's high and low, right? So it's you have to take it with.
Jari's the same in that trade, right? Jari's the same. I mean, I haven't. Granted, he's come back. I mean, and Timu know what we're talking about. We're talking about goalies and doing injuries from like groin injuries and stuff like that. But he has not been the same player. He's been tentative coming out. But we also know Jari. Forget about injury. He getting that into his head. I expect next game Jari back. He'll be back in form again.
For sure. And Lost Trucker says Penguins will make a trade before deadline. I can see them potentially making 1 or 2 more trades. But the name that I've heard kind of initially at the beginning of the year was Malkin potentially leaving. It sounds like Malkin does not want to leave. He's indicated that he wants to stick around and wants to stay there. Well, he was in the final year of his contract, so people talked about him potentially going to Florida.
Yeah, but you and me had this argument back and forth. You were saying, no, he's not going anywhere. These guys want.
I thought he would have moved. I thought he would have moved to have one more chance.
Oh, that's right. You were that conspiracy guy. He lives in Florida, in Miami, so you thought he was going there.
Yeah. And speaking of some other moves in the NHL, so Steve Eichmann did another piece of work. Detroit has been flourishing so far, which is really good after kind of an ebb and flow to the season. But they re-signed Ben Sherratt, the defenseman, to a 3-year contract worth $11.55 million for an AAV of 3.85. Kicks in next year. Of course, he's a veteran. He's played all 54 games this year. He's more of a defensive defenseman. He's physical. He can really get into the corners. 11 points with 4 goals and 7 assists, and block shots as a leader for the team for 113, and hits 109. So he does all the right things that a coach would love. Your thoughts on this signing for Detroit?
I think they're excited about it. I guess they're at that place. I mean, we're talking about Ben Sherratt. I'm not as high on Ben Sherratt. Like, to me, he's a bottom defense. Like, on a cup contending team, he's your Brett Kulak. Can I say?
Well, I mean, for sure, but I mean, you still need those guys. You need bodies. You know, it's funny when fans.
What's our number? What's our number that we're paying for this?
3.85 per year next year.
So you're almost paying $4 million for a guy who's like a number 6 defenseman, maybe a number 5 at best.
True, but if the cap's going up, I think you want those guys.
So what we're doing is we're paying like almost $4 million for bottom pairing and the players now. So that would mean we're paying $7
unless he's been playing top 4 minutes.
So if I'm playing the next level, I must be at 6-7 million. So that's going to be 12. So I'm now at 22, and I haven't even got my top 2 pairing. So they're going to be at 10. So I got 20. So I got.
He plays top 4. He plays top 4, Evan.
But
the last game that he was slated to play top 4.
Did we agree that because a player plays top 4, because a player is put in there because they don't have a good enough team, just because his numbers are good for a certain period, the team is playing good overall? I mean, Grand Rapids is playing.
You agree with me, so no. I'm sorry. You're wrong in this one.
You know, it's okay. Pawel, it's okay. You don't always have to be right. I don't mind.
It feels good to be right, but that's okay. He plays normally top 4. I know what you're saying. I just think that for the role that he's filling in, and he's not going to put up a lot of points. Like, if you get 20 out of him, great. But he does all the other little things, which is important, right? And he's a veteran of the game. He's been around. He knows what his job is. He's a Swiss Army knife. He can be adaptable. And so he's been helpful for that team. And again, that team has a few other contracts on the go. But what I think Detroit is trying to do is make a big splash. However, I know that they were hesitant about Quinn Hughes without an extension. And I'm sure they're probably in on a few others. And speaking of teammates of Ben Sherratt, it sounds like Patrick Kane has finally tied Mike Modano for the most points by an American player with 1,340, 1,374 career points. I wanted to make sure I got that right. So great, what's it called? Accomplishment by him. Patrick Kane, I mean, he's not the player that he was a couple of years ago. What's it called? What was he saying? I don't think that's a bad deal. Now the hell is I was in 3 years, no tears. Sure, I believe he'll be the way. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I could be wrong. We'll see how it goes.
I was just listening. You're saying, I know it's just one of those days, but you're saying, what's it called? Oh, yeah. And then you said however many amount of points. It was just like, oh, not a big deal. Hey.
That's what happens, guys. You make hiccups even throughout the season. Whether it's episode 1, episode 40, you do hiccups. So I enjoy watching Mike Modano, but I really have liked what Patrick Kane has done. He's not the same player. He faced off versus his former teammate Jonathan Toews over a couple of weeks ago. Great player, still has great hands. Go ahead.
Hey, can I ask you a question? If we took right now, okay, prime years. Now I know it'll be you and I are a little bit different generations here. So, but from your point of view, and you guys out there, if you're listening to this, whether it's on a post delay, it's a day after, 3 days after, or you're live right now. Patrick Kane, prime. Mike Modano, prime. Who are you putting on your team? I take Mike Modano every day, hands down.
I would say Mike Modano too, but I was able to watch Mike Modano play.
Okay, but you would have been fairly young when Mike Modano was playing, correct?
That's true, but he was still.
That's pretty impressive.
Phenomenal.
Okay, so I think that this would actually show us that, right? So you and I think we got like about 18 years, about 16 years between us or something. So obviously from the
Full draft class.
but I mean, if you think that Mike Modano, like Patrick Kane has done some real things. Look where he's coming in on the numbers.
But look at the teams that Mike. Look at the teams that Kane has played for, and look at the team that Mike Modano played for in the '90s. Right?
Like he played for Dallas.
No, I know they were good, but he stood out of all those giants, right? Yeah. Whereas Patrick Kane played with some elite players as well.
Dead puck era. So people have this thing that they think dead puck era is like the 2000s and stuff. Folks, remember the dead puck era ended when Sidney Crosby came into the NHL after the lockout. That's when it was gone. That's when the scoring went right through the roof and shot. Hey, can I say this right now? Hold your breath. I haven't even told Pawel this. Only person that knows, because I had a side conversation with the Lost Trucker, Zill. And right now, if you're out there and you're watching because someone had called you and you're checking out our show today, we are working at getting someone that did very well in the NHL from the Indigenous community that played for the San Jose Sharks. We might be able to get him on our show from Moose Jaw Factory, Saskatchewan. Do you guys know who that is? It's the Choo Choo Train, baby. We're looking to get Jonathan Choo Choo. Choo Choo. Choo. I'm saying Choo Choo, so now it's the Jonathan Choo Choo. Jonathan, yeah, Choo Choo. So Pawel's just hearing about this for the first time around it. So Jonathan, if you're out there, we want to set this up here in the next month, if it's possible, to be able to get you on. He's an incredible speaker. He represents the Indigenous community. I had an incredible year with Joe Thornton coming over to the San Jose Sharks. So I was just thinking of all these different players. But let me just come back to Mike Modano for a minute. Like this guy, I did not even like Mike Modano that much in his style of a player. But and I think it was because I was a Trevor Linden fan, right, in Vancouver. I thought that I really liked what Linden brought. And, of course, you had Wendell Clark and Trevor Linden and Mike Modano. But, man, Modano did nothing but win. I mean, he actually sacrificed, when you talk about a center, sacrificing offense to play defense. Even when he played for Team USA, he didn't always take the star role. I look back, and I did not appreciate Mike Modano when I was younger in his game. Just like when I was younger, I was a Calgary Flame fan growing up in Calgary as a teenager. So I never appreciated the Edmonton Oilers dynasty because I was watching the Flames and their two runs to the Cup and their one Stanley Cup when we had Joe Nieuwendyk and Håkan Loob and Dimple Plinsky and Joel Otto and Mike Vernon and Al McInnes and Paul Baxter. I mean, you name those guys. All you Flame fans are just getting super excited right now. You'll have to hang on to that excitement because it's going to be a while before you're good again. Anyway, hey, I just like to say that congratulations to Patrick Kane, though, for passing a legend.
Okay, well, that's amazing. And I did want to get into, because it's fun kind of going back and examining players because it's so different too. So it's comparing apples to oranges, of course. Timu says Trevor who? He was a merchant. I mean,
Timu, come on, man. What do you mean he was a merchant? How old were you? I think he's your age.
But I wanted to get into a few little things. Let's see here. The Stadium Series. So the 2026 Stadium Series coming up here at the Raymond James Stadium. Of course, Tampa Bay is going to be playing. There's going to be a pirate theme for the thing, which is Yar. That's a terrible joke. I got nothing, but that's pretty good. I like to see it. I like when the NHL thinks outside the box. It doesn't always pan out, but at least they're trying. They're attempting something different and unique. So I approve of it. And I did want to also mention the trade that we didn't. Go ahead.
No, so there's a pirate-themed decor blending with the Bolts vibe. I mean, sign me up, baby. This isn't just hockey. It's an event, folks. They're going to take the Raymond James Stadium into a swashbuckling spectacle. So expect some immersive fan experiences. That's what I'm hearing from a shipwreck. Maybe they do a shipwreck. Just imagine it. And the cannon blasts during every goal, and they keep the ice pristine in that 70-degree weather. I mean, talk about a nod to local culture that would draw in the massive crowds and boost the league's appeal beyond the traditional markets. He pulls off the immersive hockey outdoor history as promised. Anyway, sorry guys, I don't know. I'm in the mood tonight.
Ostrarker says blistering barnacles. So there you go. Love it.
Hey, this could be a new bar set for the future events like Coachella Valley meets the Cup final.
Okay. So something unique, trying to get the youth in on it.
I love it. I love it. You know what? I'm actually starting to embrace the hot weather. Like this is actually a kind of a fun thing, I think now. You know what? Just go with it. It's like all-star games, all that kind of stuff. Let's just enjoy it. Just go with it, folks.
It's more for the people there, not for the people on TV, I think. And that's kind of the point.
It's for me too. I'm a little kid inside, and I want to do some swashbuckling.
But it's not for every fan. Not every fan likes it. It's not for me. Maybe for you. Not for me.
It's not for you, you swashbuckler.
Yar. Y'all be wrong about this one, matey.
Oh
this is, guys, what happens when our show goes off the rails. Now, speaking of another trade that happened, Carson Soucy from the New York Rangers has been traded to the Islanders as well for a conditional third-round pick. We know what Soucy is. He's a 31-year-old servable defenseman who, according to Evan, is probably a third-pairing guy, but he's in the final contract of his season, so clearly that's good. Again, intercity rival trade. It's very rare that you see them, but it has happened. Your quick thoughts on that?
I just want to know, did he put his skates on before he swam across the Hudson Bay to join the next team? I don't know. Guys, I didn't drink, honestly, before we started this show.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What's that?
Timu says, Evan, I asked for permission from some other people. And if you remember, you can say why the arena is taking so long because I sent a DM.
Yes, I did get that DM.
Hey, Kyle, good to see you.
Yeah, I'll send a note to you, Timu. I do have to be careful just because
Kyle's Bruins are surging. They've been on fire. They've been rocking. And speaking of Atlantic teams, let's talk about the Buffalo Sabres. Evan, clearly Kevin Adams was the problem. Just kidding. But for some reason, the team has turned it around, other Kekalainen, and all of a sudden this team is playing so hot. They're third in the Atlantic. They've been winning like crazy. Anything can still change, but it looks like they could potentially end their drought. However, the Buffalo Bills, of course, have been eliminated from the NFL postseason. So maybe it's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde situation. If one team makes the postseason, the other one can, and vice versa. So if the Bills are out, clearly the Sabres are in. Your thoughts on what that team has been able to do?
I was just wondering if when you were going to say they're out, if you were going to say it looks like the Buffalo Sabres are out of the playoffs.
No.
Oh man, I think I think this is a really good feel-good story. You got to love the Buffalo fans.
Good for the fans. Good for the fans.
This is about the fans for me, and actually some of the players. There's been some players that have stuck through it. I'm happy for guys like Dahlin. I'm happy for guys like Owen Power. By the way, can I just say, like, I wonder what's really happening. I feel that there was so much more upside for Owen Power. They're doing good, by the way. Don't get me wrong right now. I still feel like Owen Power has another level, but someone has to – he's never been a beast, but someone has to unlock something a little bit – like he has a bit of Victor Hedman in him. If he could just get upset, I feel like he's Evan Bouchard calmness and just relax, like he doesn't ever get upset no matter what happens, but he's got the ability. If he could just go – I'm worried about Owen Power in the playoffs. I guess that's what I'm saying around that. And I still wonder if Bowen Byron, a move out, would be the right move still at some point here to bring something else in, because I don't know if having Byron, Dahlin, and Power along with some of the other D is ultimately the best choice. Or do you move out Owen Power actually, right?
I don't think you move anybody out. I think you look at getting Alex Tuch signed long-term, so you keep that piece. And you continue to build around that and try to get into the postseason, and then anything goes.
You know what? I wonder if they right now. You know who will be an unrestricted free agent? Maybe they need a goalie. They need another goalie. What if they could pick up Stuart Skinner and take him to the Stanley Cup final?
Wow. Well, Timu says I trained UPL, so I may be biased, but UPL. I love.
Oh, I like
UPL.
it. Yeah.
One of the best underrated stories in hockey, and also one of the best hockey names ever.
Hey, what is his
UPL.
status? What is his status? So if someone can look up what's his contract, because that was a contract I think for a team that's like a cup contender. I don't think he's going to be the.
He's on a 5-year, 23.75, so 4.75 million per year that expires in 2028, 2029. So 3 more years.
3 more years?
Yeah, 5 years. He signed a 5-year.
No, okay, but you say expires. He's in the middle of it, isn't he?
In 2020, yeah, he's in the middle of it. He signed it in 2024, and it goes till 2029, 2028.
Yeah, they have so many goalies. They're not ready to contend, and I wonder if that could be a great option. Like, you know what? Hence, I know they already got stuff going on in Edmonton, but that was always a rumor that was being talked about there too. I think he would be a perfect fit over there too in this style of play.
You've been banned from saying the devil word of Stuart Skinner, so are you trying to jinx the Buffalo Sabres? I didn't like. I understand why they did it, but I didn't like that Pittsburgh didn't play Skinner in that game. I understand why, but I thought
he just played the night before.
I know, but just the honor of it. I understand why Pittsburgh did it. Don't get me wrong; they got a win out of it, a big win out of that. But yeah, it's interesting to see there. And I know Lost Trucker talked about. We're going to get into a little bit of Swedish Olympics, as among a few other things, with Around the Rink. Around the Rink, brought to you by Flow Hockey. If you're looking for additional junior and exciting hockey, go check out Flow Hockey. All right, Evan. As Lost Trucker indicated, they have been injured a lot, and it sounds like both Marcus Johansson and Hampus Lindholm have been added to the roster. This comes after Anaheim's Leo Carlsson and Minnesota's Jonas Brodin has been injured. Now, we remember Carlson. He's had a great start to the season, and then he kind of fizzled out for a bit, and he's kind of getting to the groove. But again, young player still finding his way around the league. But I really believe that Sweden, although, they're losing these injuries, they were one of my dark horses for the tournament in the Olympics because they have some good, sneaky players there. So I wish them all the best. You never want to see players injured. But I think Marcus Johansson, who has been tried at center so many times, and yet he's better as a winger. And, of course, Hampus Lindholm, who has been part of that successful run for Boston, is going to be very effective for that team. So we wish Sweden the best. It's going to be fun to watch them play.
I just had a flashback. You were talking about Sweden. It's just and this just goes back, so all you Flyer fans would kind of know this, and this was close to my heart. I actually got into goaltending, and the reason that I started following goaltending at a very young age was because of the late, great Pelle Lindbergh. And when I think about the Olympics, I think about some of the great goaltenders they've had over the years going in. They have such a well-rounded team, like so many. What they lack is that high, like having like 3-4 superstars on the offensive part of it. Their defense has always had a good group of people. But I just think that, man, if they have a goaltender that can get hot, and I think it comes back to goaltending for them to be that. But I will say with Marcus Johansson and Hampus Lindholm, I think they're actually really good, solid replacements. You know, the Johansson's going to bring that veteran forward versatility. Lindholm, he'll give that shutdown D-man with some offensive upside. Really, I mean, fresh just off his time here right now with Boston, looking really good. And the tweaks, an already stacked Swedish squad like you're talking about, and getting a little bit more.
And we don't know. I think Landeskog should play, but he's kind of been hit and miss, So I don't know if there's going to be a precaution.
And I wonder, would you take a chance? Would you take a chance again?
I mean, if you're Colorado, who's been struggling as of late recently, they've hit a bit of a slump.
And that must be so hard for a team because you can't say no. It's a part of the collective bargaining with it. But hey, right? Olympics. Imagine this though, if you don't got the best on the best, right? That's the hardest thing. I know we're dealing with the whole thing with the Russia will not be in it again. But right now it's like, put that aside, pretend Russia never existed for the poor NHLers and they're sitting out there. I know some of you don't agree with that, but hey, we're back really with the Olympics. It is just right around the corner. I've talked with a few of you and I'm like, wow, We are so close to lining up and seeing some of the best hockey. And I'm actually really excited to see the growth in the women's competition of the game, to see what it's going to look like with some of the countries right now, especially with a lot of these women now playing more hockey than they've ever played before. And high-end competition. What's that going to look like? I think the women's hockey is going to shock people with how good it is now.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm excited, especially with some of the players like Hilda Svensson, Sarah Hjalmarsson, and Josephine Moving on forward lines. Of course, in goalies, Ebba Svensson-Treff and Emma Soderberg. So we'll see how they do. It'll be interesting. And speaking of the AHL, the Grand Rapids continue to set an AHL road records. They've made history in the AHL by having the longest road win streak with a 2-1 win over the Manitoba Moose. So they've earned their 17th consecutive road game, and they are unbeaten away from home at 15-0-1-1. So they sit dominantly at 32-3-2-1. I'm sure that Steve Yzerman is very happy with where the Grand Rapids farm team has been and the effect it has. And again, they potentially could go on another deep playoff run. Go ahead.
Wow. Hey, I mean, talk about this team. Grit personified, sitting atop those standings. It really, they're in a prime position right now and showcasing some of the real depth. So this is where I think about the head U.S. scout for the Everett Silvertips, Michael Devellano, who's been on our show for a couple different seasons. I haven't had him on this year. I don't know if we would dare even see if he can jump on, because I don't know if he'll shut up about the Detroit Red Wing system, man. I mean, he's been calling it all year around this. They have done really good. This really bodes well. I've called it the messy Yzer plan. I feel like, remember Greer? I didn't think Greer was going anywhere with what he was doing, and now I'm like, I really like this franchise, and I think I'm starting to be made a believer. And maybe Yzerman figured it out somehow, some way, and I just didn't see it. But hey, they're there.
I think what kind of set the expectations for the San Jose Sharks is that everyone knew how talented Macklin Celebrini was, but they didn't realize how incredibly talented and how much of a force he can be on the ice, especially in year 2 of the team's rebuild. I mean, he's really come out flying full throttle, and I mean, the kid has jets. And so you go to see here. The thing with Yzerman is that he stands pat and waits, and I really believe that he needs to sometimes take a bigger swing. And I know he's attempted to, but actions speak louder than words, right, Evan? So, and it goes to show you how Tampa's doing ever since he left, and how well Tampa has done, even with all the injuries and some of the pieces that Julian Brisebois has been able to find and fill into that role. And that team is still competitive. Just when you think, oh, Tampa, well, they got rid of Stamkos. They got rid of Sergachev. They got rid of Coleman and Palat, as we talked earlier. Yeah. And all of a sudden, this team is still competing in, of course, the Atlantic, and potentially could be a playoff threat. Quickly, go ahead.
So pull up Timu's comment here. I just want to mention, so Timu Laszlo, guys, if you get a chance to go follow him, he's over on X. Timu will tell you he doesn't shy away from conversations and hard conversations. So he's a blast to watch and follow, even people getting mad at him, not liking. If you're not a Cal McCarr fan, he'll love you. You guys can talk. He'll give you the numbers around it. He was just saying here, so he's done some work for Yzerman in Finland. Just all you can say. So, hey, buddy, good on you. He is Finnish, if you did not know that, Timu. Just like he was named after the famous. So, Timu, were you named after the famous Timu Solani? That's what we want to know. Inquiring minds are asking that specifically. But, hey, let me just I'm kind of like, as we're talking about some of this, I'm thinking, is it possible? Do you have a couple more things? Because I want to talk about Macklin Celebrini, but I actually want to rant. So when it's ready and time, take me back to that. If you got more around the rink, then we'll go there. Right?
And generational Cale McCarr stat hater. So before we wrap up around the rink, just a few little things. So Josh Levo, who was a former NHLer, he also plays for the Chebanisk tractor team. He has set the history books for the most goals in a regular season, scoring his 49th goal, surpassing Sergei Monziakin. standing Lamarck. So 49 goals and 80 points this season. It's great for him. Would we see a return of Josh Levo potentially in the NHL again? I potentially can see a team taking a fly on him next season to be a bottom six pairing guy. Your thoughts on Josh Levo?
I don't think he can. Honestly, I think if he plays in that top role, he's over in the KHL. Is what as you kind of.
But bottom six, right? Bottom nine, bottom 12.
I just feel like the difference is like he's just not fit for that bottom role, folks. He's had a little stint he had in Vancouver and Toronto. They thought he'd get around. I think he had to get away. There was all this allegations and stuff. And I'm just using the word loosely because of specific charges around it. Not getting into all that stuff. That's not where we're going. But his dominant campaign in the Russian league elevates his rep big time. But he is 32. He does show that he's got some gas. Could he actually make it there? Possibly. But my worry is, again, I don't know if he's going to look good if he's not in the top six role, unless he had a chance to play on a lower end team that's rebuilding. Maybe a team like Calgary to bring him in for a little while or something along those lines. But right now, the fans of the KHL are actually eating it up. And some of his highlights, if he got a chance, again, they're just highlights, though, of how global the game is. But that a player, I got to be honest, I'm starting to see too many players thriving that could never thrive in the NHL. And I've always considered the KHL the second highest league of play. I'm starting to doubt.
We had this debate a couple of years ago, AHL versus KHL. It was really fantastic. You guys can go back and watch it. I think it was season 4. Go check it out.
The level of play
says been watching the network, all Big Ten sports, loving it. Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't feel the level of play in that league is as strong as it used to be anymore. That's my personal opinion from afar. Doesn't mean
you guys can let us know your thoughts. That's fair. 2 things just before we wrap up. You may have heard Heated Rivalry, a great series that has come out and really swept the world. A lot of players are watching it. A lot of people are watching it. A few people I know have asked hockey players about it, including Charlie McAvoy, and kind of speaking about the repercussions and implementations. I'm not going to spoil the series, but I think it's good to grow the game. And similar to the Amazon series that they've had, I think more of these series need to be promoted, whether fictional or documentary. And one other series that I'm excited to check out that's coming out on Netflix is The Miracle, The Boys of 80s, Netflix documentary of the Miracle on Ice story of Team USA. So if you have Netflix, go check it out, or wherever you stream your TV show. I'm sure it's to be a great thing. And there's some great hockey content, but that would be a great story to revisit. Go ahead.
So I don't normally go here, but I'm going to do this tonight. I don't think we should shy away from some of the tougher talks. So and what was it? Arnaud, that's his name, the actor?
Yeah, that's Arnaud.
Yeah. So as you just heard Pawel talking about, so he's right. He's calling out the NHL actually for promoting the Heated Rivalry, that because it's a steamy hockey romance novel. But right now, really, the NHL has 0 openly really gay players in the league. And
Luke Prokop came out, former Oil
but he's not playing right now. He's not playing. I guess that's what I'm saying. He's a nominal player. We know there are other players not. But his point reignites the inclusion conversation. I know we've had conversations like they started a couple of years ago for us. And it does hit home. His point is talking about, think of all the strides that were made with things like, and this is not about whether you agree or disagree about stuff, guys, but they were working towards the things around the Pride Nights. You can play initiatives, but the progress, really true progress for them, means creating a space where, say, queer athletes could actually feel safe coming out. And the NHL's response is they just need to back up the marketing with some real action, I think. They need to get a stronger allyship with programs and 0 tolerance policies. It is 2026, folks. It's time for the league to lead and not lag on anything around this type of support. So kudos to Arnaud for actually sparking the dialogue so it gets out there. And again, hockey is supposed to be for everyone, so you got to put your money
100%
marketing where your mouth is.
I do want to just shout out Andrew Ferentz, who's the one that started the Pride Tape in Edmonton. He was the first leader in the NHL who kind of started that tradition. So applause to him for kind of getting that hockey is for everyone involved and doing the Pride Tape for pre-warm-ups. So I know there's been a lot made about this, but this is kind of where we stand at that. You guys can let us know your thoughts about that, but this has been Around the Rink. All right, you wanted to get into was it a bit of a rant or was it just a bit of a
rant?
All right, so
another rant.
We've got a bit of a rant of the night, an unsurprising one by Evan Renaerts.
Puckpedia brings you
Rant of the Night.
Calling all hockey fans, stay on top of your game with Puckpedia. It's the ultimate source for NHL salary cap information.
Okay. Let me just say this, and let me just say this one more time to all of you folks out there that want to talk about generational players. Generational players. So I'm hearing that Macklin Celebrini is a generational icon. I mean, this guy comes right from the Gretzky years and the Lemieux years, and he is right up there with Sidney Crosby, who is now being called a generational player, who has lived it out. Is he a generational player? Well, one of the things to be a generational player is you need to begin from the very beginning of days. You can't say, I was really good, I was a franchise player, I played above my league, and now, all of a sudden, because in my second year I'm getting more than a point a game, I'm a generational player? Why is he a generational player and he hasn't even proven he can go back-to-back years with more than a point per game? Generational players are a different kind. Could he be? I don't know. Can a generational player actually come into the league and get less than a point per game? Generational, folks. We're not talking franchise player. Like, what? Macklin Celebrini is an incredible talent. But if he's a generational player, let me take you to the 80s. Mike Modano. He must be a generational player. I mean, let's go to Wendell Clark, and let's take Stevie Yzerman and Joe Sakic. Let's go through the list of those people. I mean, Sergei Fedorov and Alex McGillney. They were doing incredible things. But just because they did that did not mean that they're a generational player. Essentially, this is my generational players. You have Bobby Orr, generational, always above and beyond. Wayne Gretzky, above and beyond. Mario Lemieux, above and beyond. Who's up next? Sidney Crosby, barely making it, but only because he's proved his entire life he's always been above and beyond. And at 38, is still knocking him down. Sorry, folks. Malkin, Ovechkin, not generational player. Why? Because look at the numbers. It's not just one thing. It's many elements. Is Connor McDavid going to be a generator? He's looking like it, but he still has to finish a career. He's still got another 8 years, 10 years to 12 years. Guys, what do you mean Macklin Celebrini is a generational player? Mic drop, man. I'm done. Thank you.
Puckpedia brings you
Rant of the Night.
Calling all hockey fans, stay on top of your game with Puckpedia. It's the ultimate source for NHL salary cap information.
That was a wonderful rant. Thank you so much for sharing. I see you're sweating. You're coming off the ice. You're checking your iPad, seeing how you did there, if you could have improved anywhere. But well done. You guys can let us know your thoughts on Rants of the Night. There's not much more I can add to it beyond the fact that word gets thrown around willy-nilly. You know what I also find, and it's not a bit of a rant, is that players who come into the league after a draft, and they may have a sophomore slump, or they may have a kind of, a couple of bad games or a partial bad season, well, they're a bust. It's like they have barely started their career. What did we hear all last year about Connor Bedard? Well, he's a bust because he can't perform, he can't do it. And all of a sudden he turned around, and all of a sudden he's an impactful player. So Timu says, so this argument is stupid as frock, respectfully. Crosby has 6 Hall of Famers. Ovechkin had, I think, 2. Gretzky had 8. Lemieux had the F, and Whalers, because of Ed Johnson, made their worst trade of all time. Celebrini has Tyler Toffoli. You like the rebuttal in a court of public opinion?
Oh, that's funny.
Would you like to rebuttal or no? It's good.
No, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
I don't
well,
need to rebuttal. We'll let the fans decide, Mac.
Taylor Hall is a bust. Only one good year. It's interesting to see. I mean, Taylor or Tyler, Tyler Seguin, he's been okay too. He hasn't been that effective, although he's still injured. But it'll be interesting to see what people say. So before we jump over, There's still one more one more signing that happened today. The Avalanche have re-signed Sam Melansky to a 4-year, $19 million extension with an AAV of 4.75. So he's 27 years old. He posted a career high of 21 assists and 24 points in 50 games, but also boasting a strong plus 26. Now, I mean, he plays on one of the best teams in the NHL right now, and just really, he was undrafted and he was signed as a free agent out of Cornell, and he's turning out to be a two-way defenseman. I mean, he's really benefiting that team, and really Colorado has had to look for these diamonds in the roughs to be competitive and effective, right? Given that Kale McCarr is up soon, his contract's going to be up and he's going to need a big number. And I can see that being in the 12 to 13 million. As the team said, that's what I thought. Okay. Your thoughts on the signing?
So I think Dean was trying to edge me on. I'm just looking at the time. That's why to go back to it. So I will do a little. That's what you thought, because he only has Toffoli. But man, scoring a little more in the point of game doesn't make you it. You got to be lower. Go back to Lemieux, man. He carried entire junior teams all the way through. To say Crosby made those players, man. Crosby made the difference on those teams. Everywhere he's gone, he's done nothing but win. You could say, well, the other players, he carried Chris F.
Kunitz.
I was going to say something different. I had to pull myself back here. Chris Kunitz was a nobody. Colby Armstrong was a nobody. All those guys were made by him. He's the one guy that, like, you can't just play with Sidney Crosby. You got to know where to be at all times. And to actually give that reference that they were carried by other players, absolutely not. I mean, Macklin Celebrini is great individual talent and stuff, but he can't even score a point a game in his first season. How does he even come close to that? Playing in college, he was playing on a loaded team. That was not his team. So right now, when you look at his NCAA, I don't know. But you know what I would love to do? We need you to write up an article of what you consider generational and then send it to us. Do that, Timu. And then we'll actually read it right here on air for you. But anyway, no, I get it. I love it. I love the conversations because we're so passionate about hockey, everyone. When we're talking out the Cal guy, it's a slur. I think when we're talking about hockey, we're so passionate about what we love about the game. Like, I remember when I was like 15 years old and I was pretending I was Pele Lindbergh. And I got my foam blocker on. My foam blocker out on playing street hockey, out in the streets with the lights on. We're moving cars so that the vehicles can go by at certain times. And I'm saving the tennis ball from hitting. And in my mind, I was the next best NHL player, and I was going to make the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, you remember when you played and you get out there and you play ball hockey, or you oh man, it's the greatest game in the world.
The guy in front of the net.
Yeah.
Timu says Gonchar was a nobody. Lemieux was a nobody. Mark Recchi is a nobody. Malkin is a nobody. Considering you want a Hart in the Hawks dynasty era without Crosby. Make some good points there, Evan. So this is a good conversation.
I never said Lemieux was a nobody. I don't know why you got Lemieux in there. Are you talking about Claude Lemieux, or like where are you going, buddy? Some of those guys. I didn't say they were nobodies. I said who Sidney Crosby played with. Outside of the power play, you go look at Sidney Crosby's line mates. He didn't play all the time with all those guys.
And people have to remember, it's kind of a chicken egg situation. There's a lot of players that play with talented players. That doesn't always transition into success, right? Like you look at David and some of the wingers he's had over the years, and it wasn't until Hyman came by that they found real chemistry and he was able to bang 50-plus goals. You know, Pat Maroon played and had a good season, which helped him in his career, but he never banked the same kind of points that what's it called?
Has anyone ever rode the coattails of another player more than Rob Brown did, playing for the Pittsburgh Penguins? Now, some of you don't even know who that is. Under Mario Lemieux. Mario Lemieux carried people to stardom. He made them who they were. Lemieux just brought out the game. He saw the game. He was fluid. In my opinion, Mario Lemieux played with Gretzky. Come on, Timu, you're better than this.
No, with Crosby. With Crosby.
No. Mario Lemieux played with Crosby. That's what I'm finishing. You're cutting me off. 27 games. He played his first season as a rookie, and he left and retired. He only played 20-some games into the season. We just talked about that last week. So what does playing with Crosby have anything to do other than he mentored Crosby? And it's what he was able to do it. So, he didn't do much other than just teach him. But they're both totally separate, and they never really had a chance to play together. Which, man, I would have loved. I would have absolutely loved. So I know I'm in an argumentative mood. Looks like Timu is too. So love the comments, Timu, man. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Let's go. And one of the biggest rivalries in hockey, of course, the Washington Capitals. Well, Brandon Duhaime recently got a fine for unsportsmanlike versus the Kraken. Reminder that the league is policing physical play with a player that was, of course, in the bench for the Kraken. So it goes to show you that you have to be mindful, and they will fine you. And then I wanted to get into the Toronto Maple Leafs before we wrap up, but Lost Trucker says Gretzky made Esa Tikkanen look like a superstar. I do want to share this, what's it called? And that's just says, ha, 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 ha. So I do want to say one thing before we jump over to the Maple Leafs, because there's been some rumblings there and happenings. But I remember going to the alumni ceremony here at Rexall Place years ago. And, they talked about the dynasty of the Oilers team in the 80s. And I believe it was Curry who got a call, and back in the day, for some of you younger folks, it was a phone call. It was a rotary phone call. It wasn't like Wi-Fi or text.
Okay, explain to people what a rotary call is. They won't know what that is.
Well, you rotor the phone, but what it was is that what's it called? He got a call from his agent and said, "Hey, do you want to come over here and play in North America in the National Hockey League?" Right? And I'm just kind of repeating. It's not a hockey history, but it kind of is.
Well, I do hockey history.
I know. He's like, "I'd love to play here." And then, of course, he's like, "Well, do you know that you get to play with Wayne Gretzky?" And of course, Curry's response was, "Who's Wayne Gretzky?" He didn't know who he was at the time. There was a bit of a language barrier. There wasn't as much news traveling as it does today. You didn't hear who he was, but of course, it worked out well for both of them, including Curry's career. But it was pretty cool. And Lost Trucker says, "Yeah, Matthews is moving. I guess where." So I wanted to go through the Maple Leafs as we wrap up the final show and have our final thoughts. There's been a lot happening with the Leafs. They've lost their home stretch here, 0-4-1, and they didn't look good. I think William Nylander showing the bird to the camera, as silly as it was, I understand why the NHL did it. I don't agree with it. There's far worse things that are said, but I understand the viewership. And the Toronto team looks like they have right now, for Money Puck, a 5% chance of making the postseason. I was wrong when I thought that they'd make the postseason. I thought they'd do well, even without Marner, with some of the replacement, playing Berube-style hockey the way the Blues did in 2019. I can admit when I'm wrong. My only other prediction that I'm still sticking with that's been good is Schaefer being Calder winner, which I think is going to pan out well. But, Evan, what do we make of the Toronto Maple Leafs not making it, given all their injuries, inconsistent goaltending, and essentially not being able to defend? Because they can score, but they're not there. And to add fuel to the fire, Craig Berube clearly does not like his weights that he works out with, because he got a big gash on his forehead. And I worried that he was like concussed. I was surprised he was benching the next day. Your thoughts on what's been going on?
I think I'm struggling on some of our shows because I feel like we're talking about these things 4 weeks, 8 weeks out earlier, and here we are back with the Maple Leafs and still having this conversation. You know that
one of the biggest markets.
It is one of the biggest markets, but for my comments, this is really hard for me because I've been saying everything that now everybody else is saying. They've just taken 8 weeks to catch up because they went on a roll, they went on a pattern, and I just want to say this right now. Even if this was a team that's close to me in Western Canada, even if this is my favorite teams, whatever they may be that I'm liking, when a team is not doing well, they're just not doing well. Sometimes it's coaching, management, players, whatever that is. Maybe the fans are not showing up and they're not. But Toronto, I don't know how anyone could take them serious from the very beginning of the year. And I know that's hard for fans to hear that. Just like I think that Calgary's leadership should not have tried to hang on so long to so much, or tried to, put Wolf in and do over, keep Cooley in more games. In Toronto, it's like they're holding out hope just to make a playoff and make some money again. You don't need to make money. Just play the best guys, get the right people, move out the players you need, clear the cap space, and make your adjustments. Look at Boston. Last year, they just say, we're moving on. And look at him this year.
And injuries bit them as well. Charlie McAvoy was out for an extended period of time. Lindholm was out for a long time.
Yeah. It's so I think that
away Brad Marchand, the face of their franchise. So maybe Lost Truck has something.
Right now. Let's just move on. Don't try and force your way in there anymore. And just say, hey,
I just think that it goes to show you that there's been there needs to be a bit more accountability and leadership, and I think it starts with the captain and the leadership group. And what does that mean? Who does that include? Is that the core three? I know they got rid of the core, but you have Tavares, you have Nylander, you have Matthews there, you still have Morgan Riley who's been there. That is a core.
People need to stop talking about Tavares anymore. So you guys are paying him like a cheap rental. I mean, right now you guys got him for like nothing. He's not a part of your core. You don't want to pay him like a core, so don't even have expectations outside of. He's making less money than I think, or he's around the same money as Zach Hyman, and he's well outproducing his contract. John Tavares should not be in there more. Essentially, you're paying for what? Two guys, William Nylander and what's his name?
Austin Matthews.
Okay, Austin Matthews is leaving Toronto. That's my prediction. I think he's looking so disinterested. If I'm a Leafs fan right now, I'm like, let's find a way to move this guy out as quick as we can and get something. This is not a good sign for what. I'd be disappointed if I was a major fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs and seeing what his game is looking like right now. He is good, but it's like he's not happy. It's like he's not excited. And everyone said that contract of 5 years, this was all about money and finding the right time, and he's committed. They're talking about, listen, it's a different world out there. Even McDavid. Edmonton better get up off their butts and stop making so many mistakes, or McDavid's out of there too. And I've never said that once before, but I'm saying it now. It's a different hockey world, folks. And these teams, if you want to keep these guys playing, you got to make some changes.
Leafs win the lottery.
Oh my gosh. If that happens, people are going to be pooping themselves. There's going to be so many conspiracies if they won. So I'll tell you what. So can I tell Lost Trucker this? Sure. I'm really worried that the New York Rangers win the lottery.
Oh.
They've got 2 lottery picks that they seemingly got. They got Kakko and Lafreniere because of the ball.
You're making all the Vancouver fans upset.
Oh, well, Vancouver fans are already reading all over. They're already thinking whoever they pick will become a bust.
Well. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I guess my hockey history's done.
No. We're getting into the hockey history.
I know that. Well, let me go out with the last little piece here since my buddy threw this over to you. I was going to leave it off the piece, but hey, let me end with my last piece of what we're talking about today, and then I'll have one last comment to go. Guys, I just want to take you to a goosebump-inducing moment in the NHL history. A lot of you that are younger who never have saw it other than maybe a highlight clip, and that was Bobby Orr's flying goal from May 10th, 1970. Now, I want you guys to go back to the Stanley Cup Final. You got the Boston Bruins facing the St. Louis Blues at the old Boston Garden. The Boston Garden. The series is tied 2-2. The Bruins, man, they were hungry. And now this goes back. They had not won since I think it was the early 40s. I don't have that exact here in front of me with my information, but it went to overtime. It's knotted 3-3. The puck's in the neutral zone. You guys are going to remember this if you saw the highlights. And here comes who other but the greatest number 4 of all time, Bobby Orr, man. The 22-year-old phenom defenseman, who is a generational player. And he was a generational phenom defenseman. And the writing became on the wall. He takes the pass from Derek Sanderson, who I had a chance to meet at once upon a time, goes down the right wing. He is not a right wing guys, but he is a rocket, I'll tell you that. And he heads down, passes the players, everyone. He cuts to the net, and he dekes it around Jacques Plante, who is one of my heroes of the early folks. And he slides the puck under him for the winner. But as he scores, his stick trips him up, and Orr launches into the air. By the way, this was not on purpose. It's the stick tripping him up, and arms outstretched, and legs kicking, and flying horizontally like Superman over the ice. He lands and slides onto his stomach, and the garden erupts in pandemonium off to soaring after that cup-clinching goal. It was frozen in time. Those are the memories that I love in hockey history.
Excellent story. And they won in 1970 and 72 and 2011, as well as 29, 39, and 41. So
41, that was when they had last won before that. Yeah.
Yeah. So great dynasty. One of the best original six. Great logo. Kyle's a big fan. We have a lot of fans who are Bruins fans. We love hearing them. On that note, we are Two Guys in Hockey Talk. We are here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We are getting to halfway of the season. We are excited. We are on Facebook, on YouTube, on X/Twitter, and on Instagram, as well as Twitch. Go give us a follow. We got articles regularly up on our website where we have our former guests on, and we are working on more guests, as you guys heard a little bit earlier, the breaking news from Evan, to get on our show. And if you want to be part of our group, like our partners right now, please reach out to us at twoguyshockeytalk@gmail.com. We'd love to connect with you. You can reach to us any via social media website. We love talking all things hockey. We love hearing from you guys. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for spending your cold, or maybe you're in somewhere in the tropics, warm evening or morning with us. And if you're tuning in later on during the week for the show, remember to like and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate it. It goes a long way. Any final thoughts before we wrap up, Evan?
Man, hockey heads, you got it. A whirlwind of trains that we just covered today. Triumphs, timely discussions for you. What's your take on Palat's fit with the Isles? Maybe that KHL record we talked about.
So long as he stays healthy, he'll be a good playoff performer. But it's a health thing that for him, I think, is the most important thing.
So hit us up on our comments on our X, wherever it might be, as you heard Pawel already say, guys. But until next time, keep the puck moving. Keep the debates flowing. This has been your Two Guys in Hockey Class broadcast breakdown. Folks, in the meantime and in between time,
keep your sticks on the ice. Thank you. Have a good night. Cheers.